So if any of you hadn't heard of Duck Dynasty before the last couple of days, and Andrew's raising his hand, I guess by now you have. It is a hugely popular reality show that features a family of Louisiana duck call makers, colorful lives, odd homespun ways, colored with unique look, conservative principles, love of guns, hunting, and religion, probably in that order. But for the reality show's biggest star, it just got really real. After Patriarch Phil Robertson gave an interview to GQ and Robertson, he did not hold back. He has now been suspended from the show for the following comment, and I'm just going to do a few of them. Trust me, this would take me the whole half hour if I read through all the things that were objectionable, but let's start with this. When asked what is sinful, he said, start with homosexual behavior and just morph out from there. Bestiality, sleeping around with this woman and that woman and that woman and those men. Neither the adulterers he went on, and he went on a lot here, the idolaters, the male prostitutes, the homosexual offenders, the greedy, the drunkards, the slanderers, the swindlers, they won't inherit the kingdom of God. Don't deceive yourself. It's not right. So there's that. And then, like night following day, came the outrage for conservatives because he was suspended immediately after the interview's comments were made public. And trust me, he went on to offend blacks. He went on to offend people of different faiths. He didn't stop there. Sarah Palin couldn't help herself here. She had a show for a little while before it got pulled. Anyway, she said, free speech is an endangered species. Those intolerant, hating, and taking on Duck Dynasty Patriarch for voicing personal opinions take on us all. Ted Cruz, if you believe in free speech or religious liberty, you should be deeply dismayed over the treatment of Phil Robertson. And not to be outdone, the governor of Louisiana, Bobby Jindal, he went to town tweeting, Phil Robertson is a good man and a good friend, and his family are great citizens of the state of Louisiana. The politically correct crowd is tolerant of all viewpoints except those they disagree with. It is a messed up situation when Miley Cyrus gets a laugh and Phil Robertson gets suspended. I remember when TV networks believed in the First Amendment. Now, as for the network, A&E, this decision, trust me, it is very big business. The show, already the biggest reality hit in the history of cable TV. Almost 12 million people watched season's 4 premiere. That is the biggest rating ever for the cable reality programming. And it's a lot more than just TV. The family, writing or ghostwriting 4 books that made the bestsellers list this year, all of them, or that the show generates $400 million in retail sales, T-shirts, all the rest of the stuff here. Not surprisingly, half that business is done at Walmart. Okay, listen, I would hope we have consensus that what he said was beyond offensive. He went on to, if you want, I'll go into the comments about what he said about blacks, about what he said about people that don't share his Christian faith here. Do I have consensus? What he said was not just bad, but really, really bad?
It was offensive. I'll grant you that.
Oh, how good of you. I mean, really offensive.
You asked the question.
He compared gay people to more than just bestiality. He went through the list here, okay? Then went into very anatomical detail about them as well. So the question is, you're A&E right now, okay? Your viewing population is everyone. It's not just who you want to. Anyone can watch here. And obviously a lot of people understandably would be offended. If you were running the network right now, the comments came out, would you have done what they did? Would you have suspended him indefinitely? Would you have shrugged it off, or would you have fired him?
I would have taken a shot at him and not fired him at all.
Would you
kept
have
him on
suspended
TV?
him?
No.
Dominic.
I would have suspended him for a week or two and then get him right back on television because it's all about the dollars.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Andrew, you didn't fall off your chair yet.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I'm trying to stay upright here.
Here's the first question I have. I've seen this show before, okay? Maybe the only guy on the set. Sure. I may be the only guy on this set that's been hunting, too, if I'm not
this
mistaken.
is Richard Cho, but can I ask you a question? Can I ask you, why would anybody in their right mind sit down and watch a fool like that on television?
Well, first off, what he said made him a fool today. Okay?
No, I thought he was a fool from day one.
No, he's a brilliant guy. Wait, this guy almost beat out Terry Bradshaw as a quarterback from LSU.
Whoop-de-doo.
You know, I mean, he's got history. The point is, this guy's no fool from that standpoint.
But why won't you answer my question?
I'm saying, I enjoy it because I've watched it and I enjoy it. I watch NASCAR too. Can I watch NASCAR too?
NASCAR.
I wear camouflage and go hunting. Is that okay too?
No, I'm not a hunter. I don't understand.
But here's the question: why does this guy, NASCAR-loving, camouflage-wearing duck hunter, what does he go to GQ for an interview for? That's what I couldn't quite figure out, that whole connection.
Okay. We'll leave that riveting question to the side for a moment. To me, the interesting debate is this is not C-SPAN, okay? This is on A&E, which Andrew is upset. It used to be Arts and Entertainment. I don't know what it stands for anymore.
That's one of many reasons
okay.
I'm upset.
However, the point is, your network, these people, you put them out, your logo is on their program at all times. You are paying them to represent, in effect, you. And on the landscape, a representative goes out, and I applaud them for what they did here, and he doesn't say intemperate remarks. What he says is completely offensive. If he dropped the N-bomb, let me ask you that. Would you have a problem if instead of talking about Jews, he used an offensive slur form?
This is all offensive, and I don't condone it. But it also doesn't mean you throw somebody off. Listen, you don't throw someone off TV when you do something that you're not totally surprised at. I mean, the PR people at A&E should be well aware of this gentleman's attitude and what he's been doing, and should have been aware of this way in advance.
This guy's a reality show star. He's not representing the network. The network puts him on the air.
Okay, Charlie Sheen does a difference.
Time out. There's a difference between Martin Bashir saying something offensive on MSNBC News, or Alec Baldwin, who is a news person, at least on the show that he had on MSNBC, saying something offensive and getting thrown off the network.
Bashir read it off a teleprompter. He wrote it and knew what he was saying. When he said it.
This guy's a sideshow barker, or a sideshow, thing.
He's a brilliant $400 million sideshow.
But the reason they put him on the air is so that people can look at him and be entertained by his actions.
This is to me the interesting thing. I don't agree with you. And here's where I disagree. If Charlie Sheen, is a human train wreck, bringing not only embarrassment to the program and to whatever channel he's on, the network is going to start pulling him.
They didn't fire him for that. They fired him because he got in a fight with the director and called the director names too. It wasn't just purely his actions. He went after the boss and said, hey.
But Charlie Sheen wasn't on CBS for a show about being a drug addict who loses his mind. That turned out to be what he was doing in his private life. This guy got fired or is getting suspended for doing exactly what he does on the show.
No, but he is not.
They carefully edit out some of the worst,
but my only point is, we, the viewing public, were consumers of only whatever narrative they were giving out. Once he goes in there, and you didn't answer the question, if he dropped the N-bomb, because what he said about gays was as offensive for that time out. Let me finish.
He dropped the N-bomb yesterday on an interview too on a show.
He's white. Please, just stop. Please, no, don't go down that road and go on another tangent, Obi. My point is, if he called blacks the N-word, or if he called Jews the K-word, or whatever else, would we be still having this conversation? Would Sarah Palin still be saying, all of a sudden, freedom of expression is dead in America?
I don't think you would have the same discussion today as we're having right now. There may be a limit, but when you see the limit, you know that limit. I'm sorry, just using a word. Using a word is one thing. Using a word in context is another. Offending people is no. There's no place for anti-Semitic behavior. There's no
to people
bigotry.
Who have sex with animals. I would assume if you were a homosexual, you probably wouldn't say that we don't know where that line is. He leapfrogged the line. And my point is, if he used the N-word, would you still be saying suspend him for a week?
Let me just say a couple of things. One, there are certain public relations people, as you well know, that believe as long as they spell your name right, that it's excellent press, no matter what's said, because they're talking about you. Number two, the N-word has been said repeatedly by reality stars. The guy that's the bounty hunter, I forgot his name, the big TV show. Dog. He said it about 15 times.
Not on the show. Okay. He said it off. He didn't know he didn't do it in an interview.
He cried. He cried. He apologized.
This guy
He's back to being on television.
The apology, if you read it, wasn't exactly a heartfelt, I'm really sorry about that. He goes, that's just how I feel.
Don't forget, this was
Does that matter?
Because
I think it does.
His idiocy is couched in religion and religious fervor and religious misbelief.
No, he gets away with it because we all consider him a freak show. Let's be honest
there's that too. But
there's another word we would call him, which is trash. But I'm going to leave the first word out.
But the reason,
and that's why he gets away with it.
The reason Ted Cruz and Sarah Palin and Bobby Jindal come to his defense is because he's doing it in the name of religion.
And
which
Governor
is as misguided as could be any.
I think it's a little bit less than that. He's a very popular person in a lot of places, especially in Louisiana. And because they have the backbone here of a caterpillar, they'll get behind him no matter what he says because politically it helps him. They tried to recruit this guy to run for a congressional seat, his son, who he declined. So,
and when he endorsed the candidate that ran, the guy won overwhelmingly.
So if we're trying to go down as fast as we can to the lowest denominator, we're doing terrific over here. My point is there's a lot of hypocrisy. They don't have to pull the show. He's only one guy in a whole family. The other guys didn't say anything. Let the show go on. But if A&E capitulates and just says put the guy back on, no problem, without any kind of recriminations, shame on
We
us.
can learn from this. We can learn how wrong it is to go down this path.
How many millions you said?
400 million.
400 million?
And $400 million?
The show ain't going away without him.
12 million viewers.
You know the show is going to remain. And my point to Governor Jindal, Louisiana, if he's using the N-word, Governor, imagine what he thinks about you in private. Imagine what he has to say about you, Governor.
He's doing exactly what they pay him to do. It's
No,
exactly
they're not paying him to say
They pay him
this.
to be that guy.
No. See, but honestly, I think you're marginalizing now the guy because he's got a beard down to his waist and because he speaks with a funny accent. To me, I have a greater expectation of him than you do.
Hang on.
I hold him to the same standard I hold you and anybody else.
At no point did I
So
say
what
that.
you're saying, oh, he's just some freak here. It doesn't matter what he says. No. You have responsibilities. If you say something out loud, you should bear recriminations if you're going to be doing something that's going to be extremely offensive.
Stupid things every episode. That's what the whole point of the show is. Same with the show where you got the medicine men with the snakes who say that's the only way to practice religion.
When I get offended,
it's a freak
And if that
show.
guy said Jews have horns, would you still be laughing?
No, I'm not
I'd
laughing
be
at
offended
this.
then too. But my point, the question here is, what does A&E do? Okay, and the reality here is, in today's environment, what he did was offensive. It was wrong. There's no question about it. It's unacceptable. But it does not go to a level of saying A&E throws him out in the street and says we're not doing the show anymore. That's the difference.
Okay, he won't have to rub nickels together, throw him out on the street here, and you would cut off food stamps for him anyway. Okay, when we come back here, we are going to be talking, like the segue, Hillary Clinton. Interesting, she gave a few comments yesterday. We're going to look at the landscape here as 2016, believe it or not, is starting to already take shape a little bit. We're going to take a look ahead to that right after this.